I wonder yesterday and today as we looked at Jesus, and it said that he looked over the city and he wept over the city, and we see so many cars and activities happening. Where's everybody going and what's on their mind, and do they know his Father? Just curious what was in his heart that day. It says that Jesus left Bethany that he'd spent the night in, and he went back to Jerusalem, and when on their way there, they came by that fig tree that he cursed the day before. And of course, it was dead down to the roots. And his disciples were so confused by that because it wasn't the season for figs. And why was he upset that it didn't have figs? It wasn't the season. And I just believe that Jesus wants us to know that proximity is more than season. When he's close to us, our seasons of life, good and bad, coming and going, can't overrule his presence in our life. And they're talking about this as they're walking along from Bethany back to Jerusalem. That approximately like 1.7 miles is all it is. And when he gets there, it's like Jesus possesses the temple this time. It's like he just goes in and he's got an authority. Remember, they talked about where does he get this authority? It's a new authority, and he kind of put it on display on this Tuesday of Holy Week. And then he began to express, if you remember, there were 7 woes. Woe to the Pharisees, and woe to the blind leading the blind, and woe to you for not tithing and for using tithe as manipulation. And the 7 devastating woes that he told. And then he went into the temple and he taught some more. And then as he was leaving, it's interesting, he left the temple that day. And in Matthew 24, it tells us what today we call the Olivet Sermon. It's we see Jesus in the Mount of Olives before the betrayal that we're all familiar with. And the disciples are asking him questions as they're sitting in the Mount of Olives, and they still don't get the size of what's about to happen in just another few days. But Jesus tells them, I'm going to come back. And they ask him, they say, as they sat in the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? There's 3 questions there. Tell us when it will happen, and what will be the sign, and what's the end of the age. And Jesus answers this so brilliantly, and I encourage you to go read Matthew 24. It's where Jesus tells him about hope and a future, and not to get caught up in the news of the moment, but he is the way, the truth, and the life. And that there will be some signs to warn them, but don't get caught up in the signs. Don't get caught up in the religious experience, but get caught up in letting others know about this good news, And it's just an interesting travel between Bethany and Jerusalem, And he even goes back to Bethany on Tuesday night. Remember, on Sunday, on triumphal entry, he went into Jerusalem, then he went that night and spent it in Bethany, and then he came into Jerusalem and he went that night and spent it in Bethany. And here Tuesday, we find him back in Jerusalem, but he goes back to Bethany, the house of God. The house of God. But during this time, this is a dark Tuesday, because on Tuesday, this is where Judas bargains with the Sanhedrin, with the extreme religious. This is the day where Judas makes a deal. For 30 pieces of silver, he'll give up the Lord. I used to really judge Judas, but the more that I walked with the Lord, the more that I realized I probably betrayed him in multiple ways myself, and for less than 30 shekels, for less than what Judas got out of it. I find myself wondering if I get stuck in the city of what's going and coming, and my agenda and my calendar and my cell phone, and I end up just totally defrauding and betraying, making plans against my Father's will. And then he wants to go back to Bethany, and I think if I'm honest, I've probably made the same plans that Judas has made. It puzzles me. Enjoy this Tuesday and ask the Lord how he might show you what's going on in your heart. And tomorrow, Wednesday, it's an interesting day. Thank you for being with us.